In this lesson, you will be learning how to use the UPSE problem-solving method to solve multi-step word problems. What does UPSE stand for? The U stands for understand, P for plan, S for solve, and E for evaluate. UPSE is broken up into 4 quadrants. In the first quadrant, which is your first step, you must understand the problem. You analyze the given information. Next step is to plan. You need to formulate a plan, decide what strategy you want to use to solve the problem. Then you need to solve, determine, and justify the solution. The last step is to evaluate the solution. Now I'm going to break down each step and explain the process for each one. In step 1, understand, analyze the given information. In this step, you will read the problem twice, underline the question, circle information needed, cross out any extra information, write the heart of the problem, and show the problem with numbers, pictures, manipulatives, or sketches. Step 2, formulate a plan. You will write down the operation you used, write down the method. For example, multiply 44 by 18, the number sentence in an equation form, 44 times 18, and the process. An example would be to write the product of 44 times 18. In this quadrant, the reason why you're having to write so much information is because sometimes in problem solving or word problems on a test, it may not ask you for the actual solution. It might ask you for a number sentence or process. So the more you practice with this type of thinking and writing, it would be easier for you to answer these types of questions. The third step is to determine and justify the solution. In this step, you will work out the problem, whichever strategies you chose to do, and you would box or circle your answer and check your work. Now you need to evaluate the solution after you solve, which is your fourth step. Evaluate the problem-solving process and reasonableness of the solution. Now I'm going to show you an example of how to solve a multi-step word problem using the UPSE problem-solving method. Prescott Valley, Arizona reported a total of 29 mourning doves in the Great Backyard Bird Count. Mesa, Arizona reported 20 times as many mourning doves as Prescott Valley. If Chandler reported a total of 760 mourning doves, how many more mourning doves were reported in Chandler than in Mesa? So now I'm going to go back into my word problem and I'm going to reread and start pulling out that important information. So I know, what am I looking for? I am looking for how many more mourning doves were reported in Chandler than in Mesa. So since that is what I'm looking for, I'm going to go ahead and record it in the first quadrant. Now I'm going to go back and reread, circle my important information, and record it underneath the question. So, Prescott Valley, Arizona reported a total of 29 mourning doves. I'm going to report that in the first quadrant. I also know that Mesa, Arizona reported 20 times as many mourning doves as Prescott Valley. I record that. And I also know from reading it again that if Chandler reported a total of 760 mourning doves, and I report that here. So I have all my information recorded. Now I'm going to use this information to help me come up with the plan. Because I know that Prescott Valley had 29 doves, and I know Mesa had 20 times as many doves, as the Prescott, I know that is going to be a multiplication. So my operation I'm going to use is multiplication. I know once I figure out that total, that product, I know I'm going to have to subtract as the next step to find the difference. So I recorded multiplication and division. My method would be to multiply 29 by 20 and then take that total product and subtract that from 760. The number sentence would read like an equation. 29 times 20, and the number that my product from 29 times 20, I would subtract that by 760. So the process would be to find the difference of 29 times 20 and 760 minus the number of mourning doves in Mesa. So I solve here. I would put 29 times 20. I would do the equation and solve it, which would give me 580. Then I would take the 760 and minus the 580, which would give me the 180 birds. So on my fourth step, I'm evaluating and putting what I did. I'm writing the process of what I did. I multiplied the number of doves in Prescott Valley to find the number of doves in Mesa. Then I took the total of Mesa and subtracted from the total of Chandler. So there were 180 more mourning doves reported in Chandler than in Mesa. This is how you use the UPSE model to problem solve.